I feel like if I was yellow and red, I'd be a little confused what blue is up to moving this way. This must be what the CIA feels like, funding both sides of a war. A major loss for blue. That one hurt. Greetings and welcome. Today we're not wasting any time. We're going to jump back into the game that we started a couple weeks ago and pick up where we left off. Let's begin. If you're new here, my name is Julian, and on this channel I document my journey in creating the ultimate strategy board game, Pincer: A Gentleman's War. Head over to my website, playpincer.com, and learn how you can become a playtester today. So to give a quick recap, we basically started a game a couple weeks ago, and the point was to demonstrate early game strategy and tactics, where red pursued an economic advantage, blue pursued a military or offensive advantage, and yellow pursued a reactionary strategy. If you want to get up to speed, check out the last video. I'll have it linked in the description, and we're going to pick up right where we left off. So the last move made was red built these walls and ended their turn. So we'll just start out yellow. Their move, they rolled a stone. They have no access to stone, but red and blue do. So yellow's doing pretty good for themselves. They're on their own little island here, separated by this channel of water, which is very beneficial this early in the game. It allows you to build more colonies to collect more resources without the threat of being attacked. But right now, their cards are pretty much depleted. They used all of them to build this colony, but they need to start saving up cards in order to build up their army and hopefully colonize this wheat tile right here. In the meantime, I think I'm going to move my musketeer back to this colony, and that'll end my turn. Okay, blue's turn. And they rolled a fish, and they have no access to fish. Red has access to fish, and so does yellow, thanks to their new colony right here. Now, blue is pursuing a military advantage, and right now their goal is to basically occupy this center piece of land with their units to prevent red from building a colony there. Now, I'm also considering attacking Red City, and I think a good plan of attack would be to move some troops behind and basically flank red on both sides. As you see, there's a mountain tile right here, and no land units can enter mountain tiles, so at the very least, you could cut off resources to them. Basically, if an enemy unit is occupying one of your adjacent tiles, you wouldn't get that resource if it's rolled. So it could be a way to choke them out. So I'm going to start moving my units that way. And that'll end my turn. Okay, red rolled a wheat. And as I've said a million times, they're pursuing an economic strategy, and I think you can already see it paying off a little bit. They by far have the most cards out of any player. Yellow only has 2, blue has 1, and a large part of that has been from saving cards. I personally like to have a large bank of cards on deck. That way I can save up for infrastructure like colonies, walls, ports, roads, whatever. But if I need to buy military units in a hurry, I can do that. I think it'd be very nice to colonize this wheat tile. And to do that, I would need either a bridge or a frigate to get over there. It would automatically decrease my trade bonus from my current bonus of 4-1 to 3-1 because I would have a port and a road connecting 2 colonies. So let me remind myself how much a colony is, and let's see if we have the resources to do so. So I currently have no lumber, and I need 2. Let me see. I have a wheat. I have an iron. I have 1 stone, but I need 2 of those. I have 4 fish I can trade in, so that would give me another stone perhaps, but I still need 2 lumber and enough for a bridge so I can get over there, which would be another stone and a lumber. So, however, I am a little worried with blue's pieces on the move, so I think I'm going to buy another unit, which is 2 fish. So I'll put those here, and I'll place my new unit right there. That'll end my turn. And they rolled a stone. I mean, that's the second stone they've rolled, and they have no access to that. Unfortunate for them. So yeah, they're kind of stuck in the same spot. They would really benefit from a lumber being drawn. They would get 2 of those. Even though they have a second colony, it's really not that much of an advantage right now because they only have access to 2 other resources, lumber and fish. So unless one of those is rolled, they're not getting their extra resource. They could really use stone as well. But we're going to continue the musketmen back this way. That'll end yellow's turn. Another stone, wow. All right. That's good for red and blue, but not yellow. Okay, so blue, they now have 3 stone. They actually have a maneuver on one of their stone, which is encirclement. Let me check this. Play before moving or attacking. Take 2 consecutive moves or attacks with separate units. That doesn't benefit them necessarily right now, but I'm trying to scheme out how this is going to work. I think they really need to get one of their musketmen in this tile right here. That way he can be ready to attack any units that move out of Red's colony, and the rest of Blue's army can move head on and continue to sandwich them in. So I'm going to move this musketeer out, move this cannon right here. Interested to see how this plays out. So that'll be Blue's turn. Back to Red. Another stone. This is crazy. I've never seen this many stone rolled in a row. Red they have got so many cards compared to everyone else. They have 4 stone, 2 fish, 2 wheat, an iron, and a Mustang. Now they do have aspirations of building a second colony on the wheat, but Blue is moving in on the offensive, it appears. So they might have to switch gears into a defensive mode. They definitely have the cards to buy more musketeers, and it might be a good idea at this point. Although, they actually have some maneuvers on these cards. Oh man. So this card has caused quite a headache for me on my channel. It's the outflank maneuver on the iron ore card. Basically, according to the rules, play before moving or attacking. Take 1 extra move attack with the same unit. So, in previous videos, I've talked about switching that maneuver out for an espionage card, which would allow you to maybe peek at your opponent's cards. Long story short, I haven't followed through with that yet. If you've been following my channel, these maneuvers are sort of a headache. I can't seem to make up my mind on them. I'm pretty indecisive when it comes to it. But for this game, we're going to play with the written rules. And so Red is going to play their outflank card, which all the maneuver cards you have to be on the corresponding tile, except for outflank, which corresponds with mountain. Since land units can't be on a mountain tile, they need to be adjacent to it, which Red has a unit adjacent to a mountain tile. So they're going to play this outflank, which allows them to take 1 extra move or attack with the same unit. So technically, we can move here, and then, boom, we can take out Blue's cannon, which is a major loss for Blue. That one hurt. Now, once you attack your opponent, they have 1 immediate move or counter move to make, and obviously Blue is going to attack Red's musketeer with their musketeer. That was definitely a sacrifice worth making for Red, and that definitely hurt Blue quite a bit. It's one of those things I guess you need to take into account. If your opponent is by a mountain tile, you probably want to stay out of range of that unless you're on a hill tile and have the fortify maneuver card. But anyways, Blue's turn resumes, and they could buy another unit, but Blue doesn't really pose a threat right now since they don't have a cannon. They can't attack the walls, so that was a good move on Red. They didn't have to spend a lot of cards and came out ahead pretty much. So they'll end their turn and go to yellow. They rolled a Mustang, and they have access to 1 Mustang, so they'll get 1 card. Red has no Mustang. Blue gets a Mustang. They still don't really have much they can do. They only have a Mustang, fish, and an iron. There's really nothing they can buy, but I guess they'll keep moving this musketeer down. In anticipation for Red to potentially coming over to their island, they'll be ready to attack him with at least 1 musketeer. Alright, Blue's turn. Okay, they rolled an iron, which is good for them. They'll need that to replenish their cannon. They get 1. Actually, everyone gets an iron. So let's look at Blue's cards. They're starting to accumulate quite a bit. They really don't have anything worthwhile right now. They have 4 stone, a Mustang, and an iron. Losing their cannon was a big blow to them. I think they're going to lay low for a while and keep guarding this middle area until they get the cards to potentially colonize it. Okay, Red's turn. And they rolled a stone. Man, there's so much stone being rolled this game. Alright, let's see. They really need some lumber. I think it'd be fun to build a frigate too, but there's a lot of things I want to build that take lumber. A frigate, another colony, a bridge. Yeah, they really don't have that many cards. I think what would benefit Red is if they built a colony on this wheat, built a frigate, and that would allow them to perhaps come up here and take Yellow's colony, and then they could close in on this middle one. And that could eliminate Yellow altogether, and then focus on Blue. But right now, they don't really have much they can do, so we'll go to Yellow. They rolled a fish, and Yellow and Red get a fish. Okay, so Yellow now has 2 fish. They could actually build another musketeer. That might be a good idea for them. I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. Put them right here. Now they're starting to build their army back up and secure their island. All right, we'll go to Blue. They rolled a lumber, which is good for Red. I think it's good for blue as well. Everyone gets a lumber. Yellow gets 2, red gets 1, blue gets 1. Now let's look at blue's cards. They just have so much stone. They have 5 stone. Since they have no trade bonus, it's preventing them from really making any good moves. So we're going to go to red. Another lumber. That's really good for everyone, I think. Yellow gets 2. Okay, so let's check out red's cards. I think they might be getting close to enough cards to build a second colony, so let's check this out. I know they're going to need a bridge right here to that wheat, which is a stone and a lumber. For a colony, they're going to need 2 lumber, which they have 1. They're going to have to trade in cards for the other. They need 2 stone, which they have. They need a wheat, which they have, and an iron, which they have. Okay, so they definitely have enough to build a bridge. They're going to go ahead and do that. It's weird, I haven't really used a bridge in a while. Okay, so now they have a bridge connecting them to Yellow's island. I would be pretty concerned if I was Yellow about that. So red will move across the bridge onto this wheat tile. And I think I need to clarify in the rules because cavalry have to move by 2 units per turn. So I think there's a little confusion around the bridges. If cavalry move, cross the bridge, and then get another turn, or if they just move to the adjacent tile. Bridges may be built on a water tile, one edge across, must touch land on either side, allows land units to cross between connected bridge tiles. So I think when I wrote that, it was pretty clear to me that no matter the unit, they only go between the connected tiles. So I think we'll stick with that. So now red has a unit on this wheat tile. They have all the cards they need, except for 1 more lumber, which they need 4 to trade in for. Let me see if they have it. I have 3 fish. I think I need to keep 2 of those for another musketeer. I have 2 stone. I'm kind of nervous now because if I build a colony here, yellow has 2 musketeers. They could easily come over and take it over. This is a very unique situation though, to have 2 colonies connected by a bridge over water, one of them having a fort. I might build the colony here and then move this musketeer back to my first colony and he can just attack when needed. So I'm going to trade in these 4 cards. I have 2 stone, a wheat, and a water. For the second lumber I need, I have my iron, stone, wheat, second stone, lumber. Now I'm going to build my second colony here. Alright, so that'll end red's turn. Go to yellow. And they rolled another stone. Wow, they cannot catch a break. I need to reshuffle these cards. They've actually collected quite a few cards, so let's see what all they have. They have a lot of lumber and iron, which is good. I think they might have enough to build a port. Yeah, 2 lumber and an iron. I'm trying to assess yellow's situation. I'm not sure how much a port is going to help them at this point. Their biggest threat right now is red encroaching on their island, so I'm trying to think the best plan of attack to take over this colony. It might be good for them to build a port because then they could start to build frigates. They don't have enough for a frigate, but they do have enough for a port. I might go ahead and do that. So port is 2 lumber and 1 iron. And they're going to build a port. I think I'm going to have them build the port on this side. Usually I would tuck it away, but I want them to be able to get their frigate to red as quickly as possible when they get the cards to. That way they can jump right into action. So if I were to have built the port here, it would take them an extra turn to get over there. So we'll leave the port there. A frigate is 2 lumber and 2 iron. They have 2 lumber and 1 iron, so they're pretty close to getting a frigate. I think I'm going to move their musketmen up 1. So that's yellow's turn. Let's go to blue. Alright, an iron. That is great for yellow since they'll be able to build a frigate next turn. But everyone gets 1. Okay, so looking at blue's cards, they just have so much stone, which isn't very helpful to them right now. They have 2 iron, 2 lumber, a Mustang, and like 5 stone. Losing their cannon was pretty devastating. It's going to be very hard for them to attack red since you need a cannon to attack a fort. I just had a thought though. They could technically build a road and a bridge all the way to yellow's colony and then use the bridge to attack it. That's one of those things of making the rules. It's like I've never thought of that specific scenario before. Should that be allowed? I don't know. You all help me out with this in the comments. Should it be allowed to build a bridge to an enemy colony to attack it. I'm kind of thinking it's fair game. It could be kind of interesting. At this point, I think we might go for it. I think we're going to build a road to yellow and attack it. They definitely have the cards to. The only thing, I'm probably going to wait till the next turn to do that, because if I build the bridge now, they don't have units next to it. So yellow could also use it to attack them. So I think it'd be best to build it the same turn once my units are in position. But I'm going to start moving them that way. This is going to be interesting to see play out. All right, red's turn. They rolled a wheat. They have no access to wheat. Yellow and blue both get a wheat. 1, 2. Red, this is the least amount of cards they've had in a while. They only have 2 fish, an iron, and a Mustang. I do think they need to build another musketman, though, so they're just going to go ahead and do that. But the question is, do they move this one out and put the new musketman here, or put the new musketmen in this colony? I guess we'll just put them here for now. We'll see how it plays out. That'll be red's turn. Back to yellow. Yellow, they keep getting stone. Wow. So that's another stone rolled. Crazy amount of stone being rolled this game. But I am kind of excited because yellow has enough to build a frigate, which is the first of the game. I was not expecting yellow to be the first to build that. I thought red would beat them to that. But they have officially built their first frigate. I think a great move for yellow would be to move this frigate down and blockade red's port. That'll take away their trade bonus. In the meantime, they can focus on attacking this colony with their musketeers. I'm actually going to move both of them up, I think. This is a pretty interesting dynamic right here. So basically, if red were to attack, yellow would immediately counterattack, and leaving both of them with 1 musketeer. So it's kind of a Mexican standoff right now. Who's going to attack first? But that would definitely put pressure on red. Anyways, we'll go to blue. They rolled a lumber, which is good for everyone. Red finally gets 2 lumber. They get 1. Reshuffle these cards a little bit. And yellow gets 2. Can't remember if I gave blue. I think I gave blue theirs, yeah. Yellow got an ambush. That'll be good on their turn. But it's blue's turn right now. Okay, so blue is going to keep moving these pieces up and build a bridge to yellow and attack them. It's going to be pretty interesting to see play out. They have so much stone right now. Once they do build this road and take over the colony, they'll be able to purchase cavalry. Red can technically purchase cavalry right now. We're still going to wait till they get in position before building that bridge. Okay, so red rolled another lumber. Red gets 2, yellow gets 2, and blue gets 1. That's all the lumber right now. If lumber's rolled again and there's not enough for everyone, no one gets it. Let's see what kind of moves red can make. I was kind of hoping they'd have a maneuver card of some sort to help them, but they don't. That's fine. I was also hoping they would have enough to buy cavalry, since they technically have 2 colonies connected by a road or a bridge. They've unlocked the ability to purchase cavalry. They don't really have the cards to do that. They don't have the cards to do much right now. They have a lot of lumber, and that's about it. But let's go to yellow's turn. Okay, they rolled a Mustang. And actually, so red will not get the Mustang, even though it was rolled. Yellow is occupying their Mustang tile, so they don't get access to that, even though it was rolled. That could be an incentive for red to attack to get them off of that tile. But it's yellow's turn. Oh, I need to give cards out. So yellow gets a Mustang and blue gets a Mustang. Yellow has an ambush maneuver that corresponds with lumber, so they're actually going to move their piece up here. So I'll be able to ambush red from this tile with my ambush maneuver card. We'll see how that plays out. I'm going to start moving my frigate down. He moves by 2 spaces. So he's headed to red's port to blockade that. Yellow's doing pretty good right now. They might actually take over this colony. I'm going to see if I have enough to buy another unit. I could trade in all my cards for another unit. I'm not going to do that though. Blue's turn. They rolled another Mustang, which is unfortunate for red, since their Mustang tile is still occupied by yellow. But it looks like blue gets 1. And I'm going to move my musketeers up. I feel like if I was yellow and red, I'd be a little confused what blue is up to moving this way. I might actually be suspicious that they're planning on building a bridge. Knowing how much stone has been rolled and is floating around, I might be suspicious about that. Blue's pieces are now in position. Their next turn, they can build a bridge and attack that colony, so that'll be interesting. And at this point, they've saved up so many cards, they might actually have enough to build another colony. They have 1 iron, they have a wheat, they have the 2 stone, 2 lumber. So they actually have enough to build another colony. Honestly, I'm going to send... Well, I've already moved that musketeer. I'm going to divert this musketeer to this wheat tile to build the second colony on my next turn. It's interesting. I didn't know they had enough to build a second colony. Anyways, we'll move on to red. Okay. Red has rolled a fish. Red and yellow both get 1. So let's look at red's cards. It would be very useful for them to build a fort right now. 3 stone and a lumber. They have 1 stone and 3 lumber. Their trade-in bonus right now is 3-1 since they have a fort and a port. So they could technically trade in 6 cards to build walls, and it might actually be worth them to do that. So they're going to trade in a lot of cards, 6 cards, to build a fort. In analyzing the scene right now too, if yellow gets their frigate down here, that counts as a siege unit, which you need to attack a fort. And red has no means of attacking their frigate right now. They need a cannon or another frigate to attack. So they actually need to take out these musketeers. So he's going to attack this yellow musketeer. And yellow gets a counter move or attack, and they're going to attack red's musketeer. Now red's turn resumes, and I guess he'll move his musketeer into this tile across the bridge. It's odd playing yourself. There's no room for surprises. This must be what the CIA feels like, funding both sides of a war. Okay, so that's all red can do right now. We'll go to yellow. They rolled an iron. That's good for everyone. And the first thing they're going to do is move their frigate down. Now yellow has a frigate adjacent to technically both colonies of red, and so after a whole turn, that allows land units to move in and attack a fortified colony, so red's going to have to look out for that. Now let's re-examine yellow's cards. They have quite a bit. I want to buy another frigate. They don't have the cards to really do that right now. That would be good, or another musketeer. They could trade in cards to buy another musketeer, but that would cost them quite a bit. They are going to move this musketeer out of range of red. I don't know. It's getting confusing playing for each player. Let's go to blue. All right, they rolled a lumber, which everyone has access to. I don't know if there's enough cards for everyone. Red gets 2, yellow gets 2, blue gets 1. There's only 4, so no one gets lumber. But blue's secret plan can now go into effect. They were saving up cards and moving their units over to build a bridge to yellow. I'm just curious to see how this plays out. So they'll need 3 stone to build a road to the water. Then they'll need a stone and a lumber to build a bridge. That's all the cards to do that. I'm going to have to redesign these roads. They're very difficult to position. I'm thinking about putting some kind of road sign or something that kind of protrudes upward that you can grab onto and move. All right, so there's their road, and now they've built a bridge, and their musketeers are in position, so he's going to move across his bridge and attack yellow's colony, and it's annexed right now. So yellow is down a colony. Real quick, let me just explain. You only control enemies' colonies as long as your unit is in the colonies tile. If I were to move him out, it would no longer be annexed and under my control. I'm also going to move my musketeer this way. So my next turn, blue's going to build a colony here, and they'll have the most colonies out of each player. I think we're going to end it here for the day. This was an interesting dynamic. It is odd to play yourself when it comes to the combat of this game. It's interesting though. I'm having fun doing it. I hope you're enjoying watching it. I do plan on making a video soon where I play another person live like this. I think Rachel, my wife, and I are going to play a game against each other. I think that'll be interesting and pretty fun. I think I will make one more video of this match and try to end it out, but that'll be all for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. Until next time, farewell.